This is a study that I'm presenting on behalf of my co-authors and the sponsor, Pierre Fabre. Issue that is of significant importance to know is actually what is the worldwide study on the prevalence of itch. And very few studies have looked in population at large, and they were basically in specific countries. A study in Oslo, in Norway, stating that around 8% of patients had acute itch. And from my colleague Sonia Stander, a large study also in German workers on chronic itch, 16%, and from Laurent Mesri, in 24 months, prevalence of chronic pruritus, 12%, and then another study more higher prevalence of 30%. But the purpose of this study was to conduct an international study that covers almost all the world population, and to assess the pruritus according to age groups, gender, ethnicity, and also the geographic regions. Basically, the issue was really to look at the distribution of itch in different populations, and taking into account also whether it's a inner city, cities, country, income also, and to kind of get a better understanding of the national representation of the sample. This is a large mega database that Pierre Fabre has been working. Basically, the participants were asked to confirm the presence or absence of pruritus in the last 7 days. They were also asked to confirm if they had, in the last year, a skin disease, and also in some areas, the majority we actually asked about ethnic origin. A very large study here. This represents all the continents and 50,000 participants, more than 50,000. And as you can see, the sex distribution is quite similar, a bit higher percentage of women. And age groups were divided. The study was done on only age of 16 and above. And basically, let's go into the results. And look, this is quite impressive. 39.8%, almost 40% of the population around the world suffers from itch in the last week. And I have to emphasize that the largest prevalence is in Africa, followed by the US, and then Asia. The Europeans have less itch. This kind of gives you the numbers. But I think that the most important aspect is that this is a real big public health problem. And it emphasized, it won't be surprising to you, but those who reported that they have chronic skin conditions such as atopic dermatitis, psoriasis, and chronic hand and eczema, these are the majority of the reports of the patients, but the pruritus in these, remember, these are not patients, this is general population, but basically pruritus in those who have skin diseases is way high than in those who do not report. What about age and gender? So gender, again, this is something that you see more in women, and also we discussed today about the aging population and geriatric age, or age of mature aging, I call it, and clearly there is a higher prevalence of chronic itch in this population, 43%. This is people above age 65. And what about ethnicity? Although there wasn't any statistical significance, you can see that blacks, well, because in Africa that had the higher prevalence, followed by Asians, and less in whites, but still the numbers are very significant. So to kind of summarize the results is there is very high worldwide prevalence of pruritus. I think that this highlighted how, in particularly how in the elderly aged subject, itch is more prevalent. And again, the higher prevalence of itch of skin of color, and I think we have here a discussion today, a very important one. And clearly we need more studies of this sort. I mean, I want to commend here Pierre Fabre, who took this undertaking, because to do a 50,000 subject survey is costly, but it is worth, because it adds a lot to our understanding that this is something that, you know, a lot of times my colleagues in other professions say, well, itch is not a big deal, but it is a big deal. So I thank you again.